Well, let's see. Is the light on? I guess it is. Am I recording? I guess so. I think today is the 9th of March. And got word when we were with Isabel. She was sniffling and coughing a bit, and I jokingly said to her, I hope you don't have the COVID virus. And she said, no, I'm just tired, a bit run down. And this morning she called Flo to say she's feeling worse and she's going for a COVID test. And Flo herself wasn't feeling very good this morning, and I'm not feeling great either, so it may well be after all this time of avoiding this thing that we've been unlucky enough to go and visit Isabel at the wrong time, just as she kind of had this thing, and yet didn't have it bad enough to know she has it, otherwise she would have told us not to visit. Let's go back to go. And so I was thinking, I kind of visit maybe once every year or 2 years even, I visit Isa. So it's quite unfortunate to pick this particular moment to visit her when she, for the first time herself perhaps, has contacted this thing. It could just be a flu. We're obviously hoping it's just a flu. And had a bit of a cough last night. I don't feel too bad today, but when they talk about this COVID thing having a 14-day incubation period, and I'm aware that you can be going around for 3 or 4 days probably without feeling too bad, and then the thing can hit you. I hope not. It's a bit worrying, actually. So that's news. So far I feel okay. I walked into the Connemara and back. I'm walking Tuco, and I don't feel much different. Just that the typical early flu symptoms of, it's like your blood has kind of turned to muck and everything's a bit heavy, and you're hot but not in the proper way, kind of sweating, but it's like your body is hot inside or something, and that kind of slight ticklish feeling in the throat. So I'll have to wait and see. It's a beautiful day today, very warm. And what else? This might be a short entry. I guess I could say I was listening to Jean-Michel Jarre, Magnetic Fields, on the way home. For a brief moment I felt like a second wind from my... This way, Tuco. Do you want to go back? Do you want to go back home? Good, because I don't want to go for a long walk either. Let's go. Allez. He's just standing there. Did you go to the toilet yet, Tuco? Funny the way we talk to dogs, like they understand and almost expect them to answer us. Yeah, nothing much more to say, really. It was a pretty tough weekend, and I didn't sleep well last night actually either, which would be another reason for not feeling great today. I could not fall asleep. I went to bed at about 4 o'clock in the morning, and sometimes it's like the window for sleeping passes by. And then I just couldn't get warm. Every time I put my feet down at the end of the bed, it was freezing. And I don't know how long I twisted and turned. It was very uncomfortable. If I feel tired tonight earlier, I may very well go to bed at 10 o'clock and just watch something on my phone. I've gotten a habit of doing that every 4 or 5 days. I go to bed early, and it seems to work. I sleep okay. I kind of catch up on missed sleep. Now we're heading back. The land in front of me here as I walk back toward toward the house here, it's looking lovely. One side we've got what looks like very lush grass. It's wheat or barley or something, but it's really nice looking. It's thick and really green. And on the left side, they just ploughed the field here, so there's a certain tidiness to everything. And in front of me there's lots of parapons. Just rambling now. I'm gonna go and feed Tuco. And that's about it. This is a short one, we'll leave it at that. Well, so today is the what day is it? It's the 11th 11th of March. The 11th of March. I believe it's Thursday, 5 to 4, and big news today is that me and Flo, apparently we seem to have caught the COVID virus. It's, So, we caught it from Isa. I think I mentioned this the other day. I mean, two days ago, whatever, when Isa was getting a test, turns out she's positive. And so are we. So I had a pretty tough night last night, just like the fever. That's the only way to describe it. I had the fever, which seemed to peak during the night. And when I woke up at 8 o'clock, I felt cooler, like the fever had passed, so I was quite optimistic. But then I've been told by Isa and other people that this is kind of a bizarre virus, and we have not got to the worst stage of it yet, apparently. The big symptoms peak at around 5 days. And we've only had it maybe 3 days. And so I'm starting to develop a slight cough, which means something is starting to affect the lungs, and that's the big fear. So I'm apprehensive at the moment with this. I'm trying very hard not to cough, but there's a sensation I keep wanting to clear my throat, but I don't want to if I can. Mind you, I've often had kind of dry coughs like this before. So yeah, I'm apprehensive about the next 2 or 3 days to see what's going to happen. I know the way flus work. Even a normal flu, you can start off and you get a runny nose or something, and then it seems to stop, and you think, "Oh, good, I'm done." But it's not done, and then after almost like a pause, it can come back and hit you quite hard, the flu, and you start to have I don't know, a cough, or you get a severe headache, or your nose starts running a lot. So I'm aware that just because you can feel okay in the middle of this, it's a bit like maybe in the eye of the storm. It doesn't mean that you're out of the woods yet. I hope I feel like this in 2 or 3 days, because then I'll be feeling a bit more optimistic and positive, and So yeah, where Martine Manley is going to do some shopping for us, and we just got to take it easy in the house for a few days. And that's it. I got an email from HSBC this morning saying that my credit card statement is ready to read, which kind of gave me a little anxious, because I hope. Well, I shouldn't give a shit, because I'm not using the card. So anyway, but it brought back the HSBC stuff that I need to kind of sort out at some point, but perhaps not today. Okay, so that's that. Adios. Number 11. Today is it's actually quarter to midnight. So it's about to become the 14th of March. Which is an important date, because last year, the 14th of March, fell on a Saturday, as far as I remember, and that was the last day we worked before the lockdown. 14th of March. Sunday was our first day off. A year has passed. We're still in lockdown, more or less. And to top off the year, I suppose, and become poetic, me and Flo, to the best of our knowledge, have both contacted the COVID virus from Isabel. She tested positive. We left our place feeling flu symptoms, so I can't imagine it could be anything else. I don't feel too bad. I have to say, it was just one night of very bad fever, headache. However, I'm not counting my chickens yet, as they say. I'm very conscious of the fact that this thing has a long shelf life. And I've heard stories of people who can be kind of going about their business, incubating the thing for 5, 6, maybe 8, 9 days, and then still have trouble. So I won't be feeling totally relaxed about the whole thing till this day next week. I think this day next week, next Sunday. Well, then you'd be talking about 14 days. So, feel better then. But I should start downloading some of these little files I have here. Put them up on my This Live account. I feel okay tonight. Been playing chess, watching some Family Guy clips. I tried to get back into Anno, but I just can't. I just can't summon the motivation to run the game. I had plans to do stuff. I think I'll need to watch some videos to try and get motivated, because over the last week or so I really just don't want to. I've got no interest anymore. And it's a shame, because it would be ideal now because there is no red letter media stuff. I can't really find anything much on YouTube, I just get recommended the same old stuff. I've kind of had it up to my neck with crypto news. Even my friend Coin Bureau, because he just seems to be kind of flogging every thing he comes across. And at the moment, by the way, Bitcoin went past 62,000, and Ethereum last time I looked was 1,900. So I may check my Trezor wallet just to see what that means for me. Haven't really invested anything in weeks and weeks. Been waiting for some money to come through math, but with Bitcoin at 62,000, it kind of feels like lost cause to be investing at this point. It may well go to 150,000, but unfortunately, I just can't see that, and I don't think I could ever get around investing in it at that price. I just couldn't, and I've kind of made that decision. So I know the chances that it can go up, but I have to say I don't care. I just doesn't feel right. And the same thing for Ethereum. I couldn't. The only one I'd be interested in are some of the lower ones, like the Graph, if it has some good things happen, ADA, maybe Polkadot. Otherwise, yeah, I slept a lot, not very soundly, but it's 10 to 12 and I can't really, not going to expect myself to fall asleep if I go to bed now. Today was difficult when I woke up. It was very windy outside, and so I couldn't go out. We had no chocolate or biscuits or, well, anything to drink or nothing. We were waiting on Martine to get the shopping. And then I was trying to take a tablet, but I couldn't break it up properly. And then later on I was trying to find a comb for Flo to cut my hair, and I couldn't find the comb, and it leads to Flo saying, which is true, that I'm just such a quitter. I just can't do anything, I give up immediately. And then she comes along and just achieves the stuff, and it's simmering in me that I know she's right. But at the same time, with the comb, this is kind of dumb, but when you just don't know where to look, but Flo says, well, you should at least try and look, and she got all upset. You didn't even try. And I feel terrible about the way I am, but there's also a little defensive part that says, if it were the other way around, I'd be more laid back about it. I'd be like, if Flo said to me, where's the comb? And I knew where to look, I'd find it. It wouldn't be a thing, it really wouldn't be a thing. Maybe it would be if it went on for years and it became annoying, like I'm annoying. I think I'm annoying. I think maybe it's just the wear of years and years of these little petty failures, But sometimes you have the sense of, oh Jesus, please just let it go, just let it go. Just help me to find this thing without making it. Let's not make everything a kind of philosophical statement about a weakness I have. But it's true. And I don't know how to solve it. I mean, we had this conversation with Isabel. Flo saying that she wouldn't like to go on holidays with me because she'd have to do everything, organize everything, and it's true. I don't have the interest to organize things. I don't even much have the interest to go on holidays. I lived in London for 20 years. I didn't go anywhere. It didn't seem to bother me. Maybe that's the way I should put things. I don't know. Just it raises some questions. It creates an atmosphere. I think I went through this already. I think I spoke too much, giving them a psychoanalytical rundown of my man-child mother complex. And all the time I'm looking for, I guess it's some kind of reassurance. And I want to be able to change, but I'm looking for some comfort, something. Reassurance. And I didn't get it. I just got told I have to do things that I can't do because that's the problem. But I keep being told, well, that's not good enough, and the answer that you can't do it is not good enough. You have to do it. Or you have to go and get a job, or you have to go on the farm, talk to the farmer and pick strawberries or apples, earn money that way. Sometimes there's a part of me thinks, can you imagine if this was just a terrible joke? That it's not something I would ever imagine in my wildest dreams that anyone would purposefully do. But can you imagine if people like Flo, and these people, they know exactly how to torment me. They know exactly what to say. And so for them it's like an entertaining exercise. It's not... It's not kind of a psychologically tough like it is for me. For them it's just more light entertainment. If I thought that women were like that, I don't know what I'd do. That sounds kind of paranoid. I don't think that's the case or anything. So besides the flu-like COVID virus symptoms, the lockdown, the existing in a bubble, and there is all this other stuff going on. What Flo wants, what I want, and yeah, it seems tougher than it was somehow. I guess that's because I feel like shit at the moment. I think when you feel bad, I'm moving back toward the radiator. When you feel bad, everything is going to be magnified by the bad glass, you know. everything is going to become a problem. At the back of all this, and I know I'm kind of distant and cold, but there's many occasions that I look at Flo kind of hunched in her chair, or sitting on the sofa with her knees dragged up to her chest, kind of holding herself against the cold, it seems like. Or trying to figure out how to do some paperwork for her yoga courses or whatever, and I feel very sorry for her. I feel sad for her. I feel sad for the depression in her life. Lots of people have it worse, we both know that, but you can't get away from this sense of gloominess. That's a little proof that I have some flu-like symptoms. I know she's hurting as well, with all this stuff. I know she feels trapped, like me, in her own way. I don't know what would change things. I guess if somebody offered 60,000 or more for the Connemara, it would I definitely think it'd certainly make Flo happy, and in me too. It'd certainly give me a burst of energy. I'd know we were turning the page of something. But I don't know. The truth of the matter is, I really worry about the future. And the reason I worry about it is because I can't see any. I have no plans, no projection, no long-term goal, no ambition, no real aim. I don't even have any dreams, I don't. Some people are like, oh, I can't wait, one day I'll get to America. I used to have that dream, that's gone. Maybe someone goes, one day maybe I'll go and live in Thailand, or one day I'll have loads of money and I'll travel the world, I've got none of that. I may well find myself with money, but it won't really, there's a certain security to it, but I don't see anything. And me and Flo, we're not the Hollywood fairy tale husband and wife couple at all anymore. There's none of that left. We're roommates, we're friends, which is good. But there are times coming, and there are many of them, when I think we both don't like being with each other. There's so many things in me that she would love to be able to change. She knew some of them when we got married. I think she had a sense of them. I wish I'd made a list of all the weaknesses I have and said, this is what you're getting into, are you sure? Contract. I could shore the contract every now and again. See, Flo? Article 4, paragraph 10. I am fucking useless at all things practical, you see, you knew. Anyway, so I'm sure there are times when she genuinely feels, because we spoke about it in Iz's, and this notion of we need a break from each other was very strong. It was so strong, like I was joking at one point, it felt like they were trying to get me on a plane by the end of the fucking evening, And me, I feel the same. Like I said, there's a bizarre thing that comes out, and kind of Jung spoke about, which is very true. It's a kind of feminine thing. The inner feminine of the man, when you just want to be comforted, you just want to be reassured. You want somebody to kind of say, well, maybe you can change your ways, maybe we can find a different way of approaching things, maybe we can both try a different way so that, let's say, I could somehow organize more, let's say, whatever. But the bottom line is, it's the motherly thing. It's that, and it's the thing you would get from, as I keep going on about, when just waffling on all week about not having any male companions, because it's a thing you get from another guy. I know what you mean. It's that simple, a guy that says, I know what you mean. Don't worry, you're not losing your fucking mind. That's just the way it is in relationships, Don't worry, it'll be fine. Something. But all I got that weekend was an obsession to try and solve the problem, and a certain kind of coldness, and then just not really a lack of understanding, and a disbelief at how someone in his 50s can't kind of do all the organizing without understanding the whole history of the two of us and how Flo, if she did let me do stuff, and if I decided I wanted to do it, she may not be too happy with that anyway, because I might pick the wrong places. But the whole thing becomes very unforgiving, harsh. And it's Flo's, I think it's Flo's family, it's Flo's dad. There's a toughness there. Which is exactly why they're all so much more put together than me. So much more, practical, intelligent, outgoing. Just better people in this type of life, they just manage better. I can get involved and understand bits of Jung and speak about them. Maybe other people wouldn't have the time or wouldn't have the patience or the interest. But because of their upbringing, they're good at these things. But they just don't have that. Don't worry, things will be fine. And that's the thing my mother used to have. I remember when I was growing up, and still to this day, there's the comforting reassurance when there isn't really a solution, a straightforward solution. No one's looking for one, but the person at the other end of the discussion just says something more, I don't know, philosophical. Ah, that's a common problem between men and women. Oh, that's a common problem with guys. Oh, sometimes it just takes time to sort these things out. If you keep working at it, things will get better. Well, it's not such a big deal. Well, all you need is a break from each other. It's not a big problem. You know what I mean? Instead of things ending up where I'm shouting at people. And the one thing I could do it the most is the one thing that I don't get. And it sounds maybe awfully self-indulgent, self-pitying, but I mean, it just is a fact. It's the same back here. It goes on with small things. You can't do this, you can't do that. So I have no positive thoughts on the future. I don't think nobody's said anything to me to make me think that there's a way out. If no one ever says I'm sure in time these things will work themselves out. She's never said hopefully the future will be better in spite of all the yoga and the spiritual stuff. I can't remember a single word of reassurance about anything. It's more like she states the problem and says, well, that's the way it is. It'll always be like that because you can't change. Well, that's the way it is. It's always going to be me having to do all this stuff because you can't do anything. Everything ends on a kind of negative note. And in spite of all the truth in some of the stuff she says, she doesn't need to. I know. I know. And I can't even, if I were to mention something, if I have some small flash of, hey, we could do this in the future, it's normally shut down within about 5 seconds of me saying it. If it's anything to do with a business or, no, I'm not doing that, I'll end up doing everything again, I'm not doing anything like that, no. Oh yeah, well maybe we could go here if we were another couple, like the couple across the road, because they share everything 50-50, but we're not like that, we can't do that, I'll be doing everything. There just never seemed to be a, can we try find a way? I guess you see different sides to people and it gets to the point where you're not looking at the same page anymore. You don't have the same interests in anything except the local gossip, Did you hear about the neighbor? No, what happened? The police came. The only thing of interest is that.
There's never a question. What did you watch last night? What was it? Was it interesting? I watched so many art programs. I was surprised that Flo has no interest in art, no interest in Renaissance or Rubens or all the French painters. I would have thought that would have been something we could have both watched, but no. And then of course she does the yoga, and I just she's completely on her own. I mean, no, she's not on her own actually. You know, in all fairness, I think it's fair to say that the situation is a lot fucking worse for me. I don't really have any. And that's why I'm talking to these fucking things so much. I have some AA guys I could call up. Flo does have yoga, she does have the language, she does have a whole family of about like 20 people. But you get to the point and you just wonder, you know. Is it inevitable that there's just nothing left there? It's just the company. And for me it's great because Flo is someone that will look after me. And I guess if she needed me to look after her in some way, I would. Is that enough, though? Is that enough to just carry on with someone because it feels like a sense of duty for her and me? Because it feels like, well, we've been married for 20 years, we better keep going. Yeah, but we don't fucking... We never inspire each other, uplift each other. I never really make her laugh, or I never have anything interesting, at least that she'd find interesting, to say to her. There's a sadness there. It's like there's a part of me could see I don't know, situations evolving into something else. I often find myself thinking that she's desperate to get rid of me. But she's too nice. She feels too responsible. What can she do? I have this thought of her talking to her sister sometimes. Talking to Lydia. It's like a stone weight around my head. I can't stand him. But I feel responsible. I can't just dump him. He's like a kid. He's like a fucking kid. Retarded kid. It's just terrible. I never thought I could be with a man that would be so backward. I sometimes think that's the way she is. To the point where, you know, she's thinking, God, if some other woman would just come along and he'd just get going with them, I'd be delighted because I'd get him the fuck out of my life. Because there's nothing there. I mean, if that was the case, can't say I feel totally shocked by it. I'd obviously be depressed by it, but I'd also be like, well, I can understand that. So I think to myself, what can I do to change this for both of us? It doesn't seem possible that I can change myself. The only way a person like could have a kind of renaissance in somebody's eyes is when you're completely apart. That's the only time that happens. It's when you just split up for months and months, and then you meet each other. By chance, maybe. And Flo's with somebody else and I'm with somebody else, and you meet up, and all of a sudden the lights come back to the person. And you see things you haven't seen. The spark is back into some. But that can only happen by that complete, just a complete kind of breakaway. I can see myself heading for a life that Jack had. I mean, Jim. Some little property somewhere. I'll pull the curtains and stay inside. I had so many ambitions. Not so long ago, really. 10 years more. I was going to write. I was going to be able to set up some kind of psychological, psychoanalytical group. Could have been an actor. I'm going to write screenplays. I was going to get involved in the movies. I'm going to be a big YouTuber. All of these things. Bit by bit, they all kind of fall away. And now I'm treading water, really. Because the days are coming and I'm like, what do I do till bedtime? That's kind of, what do I do till bedtime? I can't remember what it's like to be so engaged in doing stuff. I know I was kind of into the cryptocurrency, but that really take a huge amount of time to get that thing going, and then you're just checking figures, But Flo's continued to learn, continued to develop, continued to kind of hone her skills, marketing, running a association and a business, and talking to lots of people, getting involved in all kinds of things. She's continually developed, learned new things. I haven't. I stopped a long time ago. I have to hope for something magical to happen. I have to hope for something magical. Could it be me and Flo together in the future? We both turn over a new leaf. We both find what we had at the beginning.
Or will the solution be a different one? I have no plan at all. I just have to hope something happens. There's no working on myself. There's no trying to do this, do that. There's no getting involved in the AA, calling this person, going to spend time with that person. In honesty, there's no going on a road trip. There's no going back to Ireland for 6 months. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for something to happen. Something has to give. And I'll react, I guess. Maybe Flo will meet somebody else. Maybe she'll just one day decide, fuck this, I'm off. I'm going to India. I made my mind up. Tomorrow. I got a bunch of friends. I'm going for a year. Not even going for 3 months. I'm going for a whole year. I've been offered a place in this thing. Right-hand woman of Satguru. Maybe it'll be like that. And if she leaves like that, and I'm here, maybe I leave as well. Maybe I'll think I can't stay here on my own. And maybe then I'll feel I have to go back to Ireland. There's no choice. I just tell my family that's it. We split. Flo's gone and I'm in a house on my own. With the dog and a cat, but no contact with any human being, so I had to come back. Didn't want to, but maybe it'll be something like that. Could be lots of things. Maybe I don't see a future because there isn't any, because I'm not gonna live much longer. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe I don't see anything because the end isn't too far away. You think that thought would depress me more? Right now it doesn't. Isn't that funny? It's 1:55 in the morning, and it's the Thursday, the 18th of March. Yesterday was St. Patrick's Day. And I'm still struggling with this bizarre flu. There's a dry cough. Quite a kind of build-up of phlegm every now and again. And a lack of appetite, like I've been saying to Flo. Although I did just have a piece of toasted soda bread with goat's cheese, which I actually think I tasted. Maybe it was the texture. It's quite a strong texture. Otherwise, today's Thursday. There's a real sense of being in limbo land. Sometimes I feel unlucky in how we caught this thing, you know. You just think, shit, if we just didn't bother going for the weekend away, we wouldn't have anything now. But there's another aspect that makes it's like I'm trying to put a good spin on it, which is may be crazy, but I'm thinking me and Flo are stuck inside. And since being in Isabel's, obviously things were bad. And the problem with the phone not working and Flo having to do things has made her very depressed. And so, in a way, the fact that we're both under the weather with this thing has, I think, given us a little bit more respect for each other. You know, Flo's not giving out to me, and I'm obviously not complaining about anything to her. If we weren't sick, this time would be difficult anyway, because, well, there's very little to do. And so in a strange way, drop of water. In a strange way, there might be some benefits from being in this situation at this time, you know. I'm going through the days of being not feeling too bad, and then feeling hot, and then feeling cold, and then on top of that there's the psychological aspect of the future. Like I've already said numerous times, I don't really need to keep going over it. I am in it seems quite a long-term depression here. Obviously this sickness helps that. I mean, it keeps the depression. I hope I can bounce back and something will come along, and we will both get excited about doing something. Otherwise, there's just a feeling of insecurity. Like, you know, where is the future? And the one thing that's maybe a bit different is that I don't really want to go back to the Connemara. There was a time maybe I wanted the status quo, but I don't really want it anymore. Tic Tacs. I don't really want the status quo anymore. I want something to change. Even my cryptocurrency dreams are starting to fade. I just see all the stuff kind of hung up at kind of the same price week in, week out. Must be a lot of people feeling the same. Maybe in a week or two, and hopefully start really moving away from this flu.
there will be some kind of spring rebirth. You know, some enthusiasm from somewhere. And I'll just start to have things to do. I'll start to enjoy the days again. And yeah, that's about it. One of the shocking things is that I cannot find anything to get engaged in. And this has been going on now for months and months. It's not new. It's like the whole algorithm stuff. You know, unless you know what to type in, you're going to get pages and pages of one YouTuber. So I have the same stuff being recommended for the last months, like 3-4 months, the same stuff. And I just, it's more and more rare to find something that just happens to come up and you want to watch it. You know, the recommended stuff is not working for me. Because just because I watch one video about something doesn't mean I want to watch 1,000 videos about the same person. But it's bigger than that, you know, it's no games. I mean, no movies, no nothing. I just can't find anything to get into. So right now I'm just staring at the the screensaver. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna have to sign off. I've got nothing to say. Absolutely nothing. Right. I think today's Friday, 19th. And it's been a hell of a week. This COVID virus that's affected me, it has really knocked the stuffing out of me, even if not exactly in the flu-like way that I would have expected. Although I do feel a little short of breath, I have to say. I've been trying very hard not to cough too much. And I haven't really coughed a lot. But as I'm walking here, I can kind of feel, I
I think I can feel myself taking more breaths than I would normally do. So I'm pretty sure that thing is working on the lungs, or has been working on the lungs. It's been quite a few days now, so I hope things are starting to improve. So that I can start to feel normal again. The worst thing, kind of the most concerning thing, is this total lack of appetite. A lack of smell. And even now I haven't eaten anything in days. And this morning I got up to go to the toilet at around 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, and I just thought I was going to pass out. I had to go back to bed. And I thought that's probably from just a lack of drinking, a lack of eating. So today I plan to go and get some lamb and stuff and do a big stew. And kind of force myself, even if I don't have an appetite, try and force myself to eat plenty. Get things moving again, you know. That's the thing about a virus like this that's really disturbing. It's that it goes to work on tiny little areas. It doesn't just give you a runny nose and a cough, you know, like a flu. This thing seems to go to other places. If it starts to affect the tiny little receptors that cause smell and appetite, and if it starts to kind of do things on the lungs which you don't even know about, what else does it do? Perhaps in a neurological way, up the neurons in the brain. I really don't feel myself at all. There's something about the depression in it all, and I don't know if that's actually something that's just running parallel to this flu. You know, the depression itself. Or if it's all part and parcel of the one thing, I'm pretty sure it's all the same thing. But I've never known myself to just be able to sleep so much like I've done over the last few days. I literally got out of bed at midday and kind of went back to bed at 7 in the evening and stayed there all night. And I have no interest in anything else, just listening to the radio. And although I try to eat some things like toast and things, there's absolutely no enjoyment in it. Even walking down here now feels odd. It's like I don't know, it's hard to describe. Just gotta wait. It's still only 10 days or so it's gotta give it a month, I think, for normality to come back. So I shouldn't be too impatient. But yeah, the world itself seems to have changed because of the state my head is in. Of course, that's not the thing. Of course, it's me. It's depressing as well because we're obviously not going to the Connemara anymore. My interests and trying to find stuff to do, I've been going over this a lot. I can't really find anything to interest me. Anyway, I'm not sure I want to just keep moaning into these audio tapes. You get the message. You get the gist. I find myself looking forward to a time in the future when me and Flo will be on holiday and the sun will shine, and we'll be looking forward to just stopping somewhere for a nice picnic. Something like that. And then later on we'll go to a restaurant by the sea and have some nice food. I find myself just hoping for simple things like that. Just hoping to be high, kind of in spirit again. Yeah. Hopefully next time I will be a little improved. And a little more and a little more. Today's the 21st March, Sunday. And it's a beautiful chilly day. Me and Flo decided to go to the Vite Grenier in the gym place near Orizon. So we walked all the way in with Tuco. And then I went to the Connemara and Flo came to meet me there. And then as soon as she came into the Connemara, she started complaining about the fact that I wasn't washing any of the coffee cups. Such a bizarre thing to complain about when I've been in and out of that Connemara like dozens of times. I've had dozens of cups of coffee. Just bizarre. And then after that, I made the mistake of asking about the phone line or something, and then Flo just went all complete. I have to do everything on my own. I might as well be living on my own in France. I have to do everything myself, and she just put me in a bad humor. And so as we were walking back, she started talking to some girl with a big fucking dog. And so I left. I just walked on fast ahead and went home on my own. And now I'm just out walking to the river. I feel under a lot of pressure. It's like kind of desperate to have something positive in the future to look forward to. And I was saying sometimes, because I heard a guy in Ireland on the radio. He's kind of an old man, I think. And he said all through this lockdown he'd fallen all in love with his wife all over again. And I thought that's the sweetest thing I've heard. To be able to fall in love with someone again during a tough time like this lockdown. I thought that's great. And I began thinking to myself, maybe me and Flo, through a special time like this when we're together, and we both had the COVID virus and we both have to slow down and can't really do anything. Maybe it'd be a good time for us as well to try and come into a different type of feeling toward each other, to try and come into a different chapter, you know. Because I never get any sense of anything positive about the couple from Flo. And so, you know, you think, well, maybe something will happen good from all of this. And then a day like today comes, the sun's shining, blue skies, the sun's shining down, and we're on a nice walk together, and she just brings up this, kind of goes right into this whole thing in the Connemara. She just goes off onto it. And of course it's all true, you know. She has to do this and that, she has to do sort out all the crap with the phone, and it's terrible. I wish I could do it. I wish it hadn't to be so awkward, but I'm left asking myself, what's the point bringing that up today, in the middle of a walk in the sunshine? Anyway, it really pissed me off. Because like I just said, I'd had all these hopes that we were going to get better. And when things like this happen, I just get the feeling Flo doesn't really want things to improve in certain ways, that she just doesn't want to let things go. She doesn't want to let things be like that. That for whatever reason she just enjoys bringing up this problem of her having to do everything. Of course, it just makes me feel terrible. Because there's nothing I can do. And it takes away that hope for the future a bit. You know, you hear couples getting better, I think maybe something could come along to Today is Sunday. I am improving slowly. Still no sign of an appetite though. Really. I do eat things. And I taste stuff, so that's not so bad, but as I'm walking here thinking of the lack of appetite, thinking of the COVID virus, the kind of shortness of breath, and I'm not really feeling with it, and then thinking of all the stuff that I've been talking to myself on the way home and how angry I felt, I sometimes wonder, will I ever have an appetite again? I sometimes wonder, will things ever be good again? It seems to have been going on for so long. Just so long. Maybe spring will do its miracle. Its miracle. And I will discover something. Plan. This is going to be an interesting sequence of entries, because as far as I can remember, every one of these entries is fucking depressing. It's like one after the other is fucking depressing. I don't know how many entries there are here that are depressing. I know there's one with Flo that was a good one. We had a picnic. But so many of the latter ones. You know, coming back from Isabel and thinking, well, that was depressing. All that fucking pressure on me to try and organize a break. And then the news that she had the COVID and we had to wait, and then we had the COVID. Things just got worse and worse. I'm kind of at a boiling point. So it seems when things happen like in the Connemara today, I just can't take it anymore. I just can't kind of turn the other cheek, you know. I can't just let it go. Because I can't see why she's doing that. Except if it's just to hurt me. I can't see any other reason. I didn't do anything today. I didn't do anything. She just started picking on me as soon as she arrived at the place. And I'm not going to become the guy that just allows his wife just to beat him around the head whenever she feels like it. I'm not going to disintegrate, walk 3 steps behind. I'm not going to become one of those guys. I will always fight back. I'll admit that she's right about things. But I also try to tell her there's just no point in going on and on about it. Yeah. Anyway, this is yet another depressing entry. God, I hope these things pick up at some point. I hope my life starts to pick up a little bit. It's getting pretty bad. 16. Today is the 22nd of March. I believe it's the 22nd. Let me just make sure I got my phone here. Because although I don't know what the day is. No, it's not the 22nd. It's the 24th. It's a good job I checked. It's the 24th. It's a Wednesday. And it's the 24th of March. I guess that means there's a full 7 days left. 31 days. 24th already. It's 3 o'clock and I'm walking to the Connemara. Flo's there already. Her artist friend is collecting her paintings that the kids did, that we've had up there since Christmas. And hopefully she's going to meet with some guy from SFR to try and sort out the phone and everything. Otherwise, we both feel a lot better in terms of this COVID virus. I really feel I'm starting to get back to normality. A little bit. I've still got a cough and my appetite is definitely not back to normal, but I feel like I'm tasting things pretty much back to normal. And besides being a little out of breath or having a cough, it's definitely starting to fade. Things between me and Flo as well are tranquil enough at the moment. I know it's been a very rough month in terms of some of the entries I've made. I have to go over these things and it is quite personal. So I'm in kind of two minds as to whether these are the things I want to upload, although it's not like anybody's going to listen to them. And if I'm serious about leaving some kind of a record of my existence, then honestly, obviously, in the future, I won't mind people coming onto these tapes, and especially the more personalized entries. I was actually thinking about what was causing me all that grief. I got people coming. Fuck it, I'm gonna keep talking anyway. And I was thinking, when Flo said in the Connemara, oh, I have to do everything. I have to do everything. It's like being on my own in France, and that always bothers me. And I always think, well, she's saying this to get at me, to hurt me some way. Bonjour. But I kind of thought about it the other day, because Flo was kind of surprised at that day. She didn't seem to realize that I was so vexed about everything. And she said, oh, I just said that. And she said, and then I forgot about it 2 minutes later. So I think sometimes when Flo says, oh, I have to do everything, I'm on my own, I have to make all the decisions. It might not be that it's always to torment me, like I assume. It mightn't be always to get at me. It may be more just a spontaneous thing she says because it's true, and she just doesn't like the fact that she has to do all these things and would like to have someone else to do them. But just the thought that it may not always be said to hurt me. It may be just said out of her own frustrations. When I thought about it that way, I thought, well, maybe I shouldn't make such a big deal about it anymore. And if she wants to say it, let her say it. And not take it so personally, even though it's hard not to feel that it's a personal thing. But just kind of let it go, as something Flo says a lot. Instead of always feeling the need to have some kind of a massive confrontation with this thing, and of trying to find a way that Flo never says that particular line to me again. I think I should probably forget about that and just let it happen if it happens. Today is a lovely day. ADA is available to buy on Coinbase for the first time, and Flo sent 2,000 from the Castapan, so I bought another 2,000 ADA. That puts our total investment at 26,000 euros. Had my mother on the phone. She had her vaccine, and I think she seems in pretty good form. Big year for her, turning 80. Sure. What else is there to say? I am getting by the days as best I can. In a sense, I feel there might be something of benefit to get from not having the same kind of connection to the laptop, and I don't spend hours and hours on it anymore. I'm not saying that the time won't come when I'm going to get really into something, maybe I'll find a new YouTube channel or a game will be released, and I'll get into that. But as it is at the time being, I have my dinner, I watch the news at around 7 o'clock, let's say, and then I can kind of scroll around, try and find something. But I kind of spend a lot of time walking around the house and maybe more time talking to Flo. Because I'm not like really, plugged in to the laptop from 7 to 3 o'clock in the morning every morning. It's a good opportunity to learn about the basic things in life. Simple things, getting up, making some tea, and then enjoying some time just in the garden, and then enjoying a walk, and then enjoying cooking and eating something. Staying up a bit then, trying to getting to bed, at a reasonable hour, which I've been finding easy enough. And there isn't really much more to say, because that life is kind of small. I'm hoping we can sort out this telephone business and maybe get the fiber optic to work, so that I can check that out on my laptop. Although, like I just said, I don't really need all these upgrades at the moment. If a game is released and I have to download it from Steam, then that's where the fiber optic connection would be a big advantage. We're just taking it one day at a time. And enjoying the nice weather of the moment. It's going to be, it is kind of spring. 10.5 minutes. I guess I can leave it there. It's just been a lot of 10-minute entries, I think. And I feel it's been important to document most of this month, because it's been a kind of important month. It's not every month you catch the COVID from your sister-in-law. It's not every month you have really strong problems with dealing with the present and the future. And so I hope I can look back on it one day with some sense of nostalgia, and also perhaps a sense of gratefulness that we'll have moved on by then, and maybe I'll be listening to my YouTube channel as we're in a cafe somewhere. I don't know. So, yes.